Hello, Internet. It's time to read the Bible. This is a back-to-back one. I've gotten a little behind. It is March 16th, and we're still on March 9th here. So I'm trying to double up when I can. I probably won't during the week. I forgot yesterday. Just straight up forgot. So we're working on catching up. Probably not going to get there tonight because that first voice I did for George Takei was a little grating after a while. Not on my mind, but like on the voice. It's a specific spot in my throat I have to kind of flex. So hopefully this next voice doesn't flex the same spot. It's another voice I haven't tried before. I don't know it as well as some of my others, but hopefully it goes well. So, anyway, as I said, we're picking up March 9th. Numbers chapter 11, verse 24 to chapter 13, verse 33. So Moses left the tabernacle and reported Jehovah's words to the people. And he gathered the 70 elders and placed them around the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in the cloud and talked with Moses. And the Lord took of the Spirit that was upon Moses and put it upon the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied for some time. But two of the 70, Eldad and Medad, were still in the camp. And when the Spirit rested upon them, they prophesied there. Some young men ran and told Moses what was happening, and Joshua, the son of Nun, remember that guy, one of Moses' personally chosen assistants, protested, "Sir, make them stop." But Moses replied, "Are you jealous for my sake? I only wish that all of the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit upon them all." Then Moses returned to the camp with the elders of Israel. The Lord sent a wind that brought quail from the sea and let them fall into the camp and all around it, as far as one could walk in one day in any direction. There were quail flying 3 or 4 feet above the ground. So the people caught and killed quail all that day and through the night and all the next day too. The least anyone gathered was 100 bushels. I mean, 100 bushels of bird, that's a lot of bird. Quail were spread out all around the camp, but as everyone began eating the meat, the anger of the Lord rose against the people, and he killed large numbers of them with a plague. You gotta cook your meat. I mean, I assume even if they had cooked the meat properly, the Lord probably was angry at them about something, but it just seems kind of coincidental. Anyway, the so the name of the place was called the place of the graves caused by lust. They wanted the bird too bad. Anyway, because they buried the people there who had lusted for the meat and for Egypt. And from that place they journeyed to Hazeroth, where they stayed a while. One day, Miriam and Aaron were criticizing Moses because his wife was a Cushite woman, and they said, "Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Hasn't he spoken through us too?" But the Lord heard them. Immediately he summoned Moses, Aaron, and Miriam to the tabernacle. "Come here, you three," he commanded. So they stood before the Lord. Now Moses was the humblest man on earth. Then the Lord descended in the cloud and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle. Aaron and Miriam stepped forward, he commanded. And they did. And the Lord said to them, "Even with a prophet, I would communicate by visions and dreams. But that's not how I communicate with my servant Moses. He is completely at home in my house." With him I speak face to face, and he shall see the very form of God. Why then were you not afraid to criticize him? Then the anger of the Lord grew hot against him, and he departed. As the cloud moved above the tabernacle, Miriam suddenly became white with leprosy. When Aaron saw what had happened, he cried out to Moses, "Oh, sir, do not punish us for this sin. We were fools to do such. Don't let her be as one dead whose body is half rotted away from birth." And Moses cried out too to the Lord, "Heal her, O God, I beg you." And the Lord said to Moses, "If her father had but spit in her face, she would be defiled 7 days. Let her be banished from the camp for 7 days, and after that she can come back again." So Miriam was excluded from the camp for 7 days, and the people waited until she was brought back in before they traveled again. Afterwards they left Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Jehovah now instructed Moses, "Send spies into the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to Israel. Send one leader from each tribe." Israelis were camped in the wilderness of Paran at that time. Moses did as the Lord had commanded and sent these 12 tribal leaders. Now here's the list again. Shammua, son of Zakur, from the tribe of Reuben; Shaphat, son of Hori, from the tribe of Simeon; Caleb, son of Jephunneh, from the tribe of Judah; Egal, son of Joseph, from the tribe of Issachar; Hoshea, son of Nun, from the half tribe of Ephraim; Palti, son of Raphu, from the tribe of Benjamin; Gadiel, son of Sodi, from the tribe of Zebulun; Gadi, son of Susi, from the tribe of Joseph, actually the half tribe of Manasseh; Ammiel from Gamali, from the tribe of Dan; Sether, son of Michael, from the tribe of Asher; Nahab, son of Opshi, from the tribe of Naphtali; Gil, son of Maki, from the tribe of Gad. Does anyone in the entire world have this list memorized? And if so, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Anyway, let's move on. It was at this time that Moses changed Hoshea's name to Joshua. He likes to change names. He's done that several times. Anyway, Moses sent them out with these instructions: "Go northward into the hill country of the Negeb, and see what the land is like. See also what the people are like who live there, whether they are strong or weak, many or few, and whether the land is fertile or not, and what cities there are, and whether there are villages for the fortified, or are fortified." Okay, that's just a weird sentence to me. Whether they are villages or are fortified. I feel like there should be like fortified cities, maybe. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Extra noun there. Because fortified is an adjective. It feels weird to end on an adjective. Let us not dwell on it too long. Whether the land is rich or poor, or whether there are many trees. I like trees. Trees are nice. Don't be afraid, and bring back some samples of the crops you see. The first of the grapes were being harvested at that time. Grapes are delicious. I love grapes. So they spied out the land all the way from wilderness of Zin to Rehob near Hamath. Going northward, they passed first through the Negeb and arrived at Hebron. There they saw the Ahimanites, the Sheshites, the Talmites, all families descended from Anak. By the way, Hebron was very ancient, having been founded 7 years before Tanis in Egypt. That's pretty old. Then they came to what is now known as the Valley of Eshcol, where they cut down a single cluster of grapes, so large it took two of them to carry it on a pole between them. That's a lot of freaking grapes. They also took some samples of pomegranates and figs. The Israelis named the valley Eshcol at that time, meaning cluster, because of the cluster of grapes they found. After 40 days of exploration, they returned from their tour. They made their report to Moses, Aaron, and all of the people of Israel in the wilderness of Paran at Kadesh. And they showed the fruit that had brought with them. They had brought with them. This was their report. We arrived in the land you sent us to see, and it was indeed a magnificent country, a land flowing with milk and honey. Here is some of the fruit we brought as proof. But the people living there are powerful, and their cities are fortified. See, you needed the cities there to make the sentence make sense. And very large. And what's more, we saw Anakim giants there. The Amalekites live in the south, while in the hill country there are Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites. Down along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and in the Jordan River Valley are the Canaanites. But Caleb reassured the people as they stood before Moses. "Let us go up at once and possess it," he said, "for we are well able to conquer it. Not against people as strong as they are," the other spies said. "They would crush us." So the majority report of the spies was negative. The land is full of warriors. The people are powerfully built, and we saw some of the Anakim there, descendants of the ancient race of giants who felt like we felt like grasshoppers before them. They were so tall. I didn't know this story was in Numbers. I thought it was later in Deuteronomy. So it's kind of nice to get to it so soon. For those of you who are not familiar with this particular voice, I'm trying to do Nicolas Cage. I don't know how well I'm doing. I don't watch a lot of Nicolas Cage movies, but I've heard interviews and things, so I think I have his cadence okay. I hope you're enjoying. Let's continue on with Mark. Um, Mark chapter 14, verses 22 through 52. As Jesus and the disciples were eating, Jesus took bread and asked God's blessing on it, and broke it in pieces and gave it to them, and said, "Eat it, this is my body." Then he took a cup of wine and gave thanks to God for it, and gave it to them, and they all drank from it. And he said to them, "This is," I should probably still do the voice swap for Jesus thing. It feels proper. "This is my blood, poured out for many, sealing the new agreement, sealing the new agreement between God and man. I solemnly declare that I shall never again taste wine until the day I drink a different kind of wine in the kingdom of God." Then they sang a hymn and went out to the Mount of Olives. "All of you will desert me," Jesus told them, "for God has declared through the prophets, I will kill the shepherd, and the sheep will scatter. But after, but after I am raised to life again," there was there was half a quotation mark. I thought he was done. "But after I am raised to life again, I will go to Galilee and meet you there." Peter said to him, "I will never desert you, no matter what the others do." That slipped into more of a, what's that president's name? Richard Nixon. I went a little too gravelly there. We'll fix it the next time I have to shout. Anyway, "I will never desert you, no matter what the others do." "Peter," Jesus said, "before the cock crows the second time tomorrow morning, you will deny me 3 times." "No," Peter exploded. "Not even if I have. I can't shout. It's late. Not even if I have to die with you, I'll never deny you." And all the others vowed the same. I lost my spot. And now they came to an olive grove called the Garden of Gethsemane, and he instructed his disciples, "Sit here while I go and pray." He took he took Peter, James, and John with him, and began to be filled with horror and deepest distress. He's really upset, and he said to them, "My soul is crushed by sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and watch with me. Watch." He went on a little further and fell to the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the awful hour awaiting him might never come. "Father, Father," he said, "everything is possible for you. Take away this cup from me. Yet I want your will, not mine." Then he returned to the three disciples and found them asleep. "Simon," he said, "sleep. Couldn't you watch with me even for 1 hour? Watch with me and pray, lest the tempter overpower you. For though the spirit is willing enough, the body is weak." And he went away again and prayed, repeating his pleadings. Again he returned to them and found them sleeping, for they were very tired. And they didn't know what to say. The third time, when he returned to them, he said, "Sleep on, get your rest." But no, the time for sleep is ended. Look, I am betrayed into the hands of wicked men. Come, get up. We must go. Look, my betrayer is here. And immediately, while he was still speaking, Judas, one of his disciples, we know that Bible. You don't have to reiterate. Okay, maybe you do. We're not the smartest of people, but this feels pretty basic. I imagine most people know Judas is a disciple. It was just last. Anyway, Judas arrived with a mob equipped with swords and clubs, sent out by the chief priests and other Jewish leaders. Judas had told them, "You will know which one to arrest when I go over and greet him. Then you can take him easily." So as soon as they arrived, he walked up to Jesus. "Master," he exclaimed, and embraced him with a great show of friendliness. Again, I feel like the tradition is that he hugs him and kisses him on the cheek. Like betrayal by kiss is pretty famous. I don't know if that's in one of the other gospels or not, but it wasn't in Matthew and it wasn't in Mark. So if it's a translation thing, fine. But I find it a little weird. That is the traditional scene. So I'll be curious what Luke has to say. He's next. Anyway, let's continue on. Then the mob arrested Jesus and held him fast. But someone, Peter, pulled a sword and slashed at high priest's servant, cutting off his ear. Probably Peter. We don't know that. I think we know that. Again, it's another thing where it's Christian tradition at this point that it was Peter, but it doesn't specifically say Peter here. So who's I don't know. I'm not God. I wasn't there, but that's I think it was Peter. It fits Peter's mo. I mean, he's pretty. He's pretty spontaneous, you know. Anyway, Jesus asks them, "Am I some dangerous robber?" Although this one did give the ear specification. I don't think Matthew did. He just said attacked with a sword. I could be wrong. It's been a minute. So it is nice to get the specifically ear cut off part here. So more details. Mark got a little more of the story, or was aware of a little more of the story. Who went with him again? Hold on just a moment. I know I'm kind of going off, but it's late. And I'm curious. This is me studying the Bible as much as it is me reading it to you. So, uh, Peter, James, and John. So I imagine the most accurate, most detailed version of this event will probably be in John. So that might be where it says who cut the ear. And hopefully it'll say Peter. I kind of hope so at this point, because I'll be a little disappointed if it's just Christian tradition and not what we actually know, which, I mean, wouldn't be surprising. We do tend to just attribute stuff to Peter, but I think it's pretty warranted at this point. Let's finish the passage before I ramble you to death. So after you get the ear cut off, uh, Jesus asked them, "Am I some dangerous robber that you come like this, armed to the teeth to capture me? Why didn't you arrest me in the temple? I was there teaching every day, but these things are happening to fulfill the prophecies about me." Meanwhile, all his disciples had fled. There was, however, a young man following along behind, clothed only in a linen nightshirt. When the mob tried to grab him, he escaped through, though his clothes were torn off in the process. So he ran away completely naked. I have never heard that detail in my entire life. Just some random guy stripped naked in order to get away from the popo. That's a weird detail right there. Anyway, let's move on to Psalms before I pass out from just brain overuse. This voice does take a little bit of contemplating. It's not as natural for me. I hope it's still working for you. It is kind of fun. All right, so Psalms chapter 52, verses 1 through 9. You call yourself a hero, do you? You boast about this evil deed of yours against God's people. You're as sharp as attack and plotting your evil tricks. How you love wickedness, far more than good, and lying more than truth. You love to slander. You love to say anything that will do harm. O man with lying tongue. But God will strike you down and pull you from your home and drag you away from the land of the living. The followers of God will see it happen. They will watch in awe. Then you will laugh and say, "See what happens to those who despise God and trust in their wealth and become ever more bold in their wickedness. But I am like a sheltered olive tree, protected by the Lord Himself. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. O Lord, I will praise you forever and ever for your punishment. And I will wait for your mercies, for everyone knows what a merciful God you are." And then finally, we have Proverbs chapter 11, verses 1 through 3. The Lord hates cheating and delights in honesty. Proud men end in shame, but the meek become wise. A good man is guided by his honesty. The evil man is destroyed by his dishonesty. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Well, thank you for listening to me attempt to do Nicolas Cage while reading the Bible. I hope you got something out of it. I'm pleased we're getting into more story driven parts of the Bible again. Going into the okay, spoiler alert, they don't go into the land of Canaan right now. It's Lord gets kind of upset with them that they don't believe that they can take the Canaanites and all the others and the giants stuff. So he's going to have them wander around in the desert for a while, about 40 years. So I'm not sure how the story covers it. It's been a minute. I don't remember the details in between now and then. I don't know if it might be a montage or something. We'll get into that tomorrow because I'm tired from doing voices and such. So we won't do any more tonight. And so I will again try to do another video tomorrow. I'm trying to catch up, but it will probably just be one at a time during the days when I remember because it is, before work. Anyway, Thank you for listening. And as always,